peppy. I've seen you be peppy.
That was a long time ago, and peppy. Okay.
Hi, kids.
It would just sound like you don't hate your life. You like hate being.
Well, that's going to take a lot of acting.
And
I'm here of my own free
hardest
will.
to not cough through our.
Hi, I'm Larry, and this is Carter's Country. Today I've got a good friend of mine back with us again, Craig Summers, and we're going to take a look at a couple of pistols that, I don't know if you call them a tribute, a replica, a clone, whatever you want to call them. Anyway, they're obviously based on the Browning High Power. Browning High Power, kind of iconic. It was a John Moses Browning design.
He actually claimed, I think he said it was his best design, or it was the best gun he ever.
Yeah, and I think he passed before he got it finished. But yeah, he was extremely proud of it. And I will say, for me, the way I look at the Browning High Power, you know, when you think of a .45 caliber, you think 1911. I think this is to 9mm what the 1911 is to .45s. You know, it was kind of the standard at the time. Now, obviously, we live in a polymer world now with, you know, so many variations. But at the start of it all, I kind of think this is, for me, the root of it. Both the guns we're going to look at today are great guns. And when I say we're going to compare them, it's not to say this one's better or this one's better. It's just to point out some things about them, and it's really up to the consumer to decide. And I think that's kind of indicative. The whole firearm industry right now, it's never been a better time to be a consumer. The number of companies producing quality firearms of every type has never been greater, and what we've got here is a perfect example of that, I think. What I've got here, this is my personal gun. It's a Springfield SA-35. And then you have, I believe, the
Inglis manufacturing, new to this year SHOT Show, SDS. We brought back Inglis. Inglis was one of the original manufacturers of the high power. Here we have our GP-35. This is one of the 4 models that we have. The GP is our case color hardened and stands for Grande Présence. Just kind of letting people know that it's kind of the most elegant. Most elegant of our guns. But no, this is, when people look at this, it really catches some eyes because it's a little bit different finish than what most people are used to with a high power.
Yeah, it's definitely a gun that you can't look at it without having to look at it twice.
Yeah.
And that's a really cool thing about it. And again, that's kind of exactly why we're doing this video. If you prefer the more traditional finish, here it is. If you want something that's just really going to jump out at you, here it is. You know, both guns. I think both of them, although clearly based on the Browning High Power, and I think of it as more of a tribute than a clone or anything like that. They did do a couple things to make them better. That only the most ardent of the purists would not admit. Yeah, it's better. The drop safety, for one, the drop safety in the high power magazine was out. You couldn't fire it.
Trigger disconnector.
Yeah, and one of the issues with that, it's one more mechanism to involve in the trigger system, and it made for a very stiff trigger.
It did. That was one of the main things that that people kind of complain about with the high power, like the original one, is that trigger is horrible. And so that was, I think, most of the modern manufactured high powers, I think they've removed that, which I'm a fan of.
Was a good move, yeah. Another thing, they went 13 round capacity was revolutionary when the high power came out. They've now made it a 15 round, so a little bit of a tweak there. Another thing, the hammer bite was kind of a known hazard with the high power. They went with the rounded hammer here, and we'll go into it in a little bit. Some people still have a little bit of issue with that, depending on how they're gripping the gun, but we'll talk about that a little bit more. And that's not specific to this model or that model. It's just a design thing. On the Springfield, this is forged carbon steel, kind of true to the original in the finish. Does have the modern sights, the hammer, the 15 round capacity. When this first came out, when Carter's first got this, I did a video with a guy that worked here at the time that had bought one of the first ones we got in. And I said at the time how much I liked it and how much I was going to get my own, and obviously I did. I think what really got me about it, I was very slow to get on board with a 9mm because I'm old and stubborn and I just wasn't going to do it. So when I did finally say, all right, I need to get me a 9mm concealed carry, I did what everybody does with concealed carry. I'm thinking size first. So my introduction into 9mm shooting was very small polymer pistols, not pleasant. This was the first, I would say, full size and definitely the first steel framed 9mm I shot. And man, it was such a good experience.
We've talked about this before. Everything goes in full circles, and people now, I want that steel frame, hammer fired, revolutionary.
Revolutionary old gun. Yeah.
So everything just goes in full circles.
Yeah.
The small polymer guns, concealment, everybody realizes those aren't necessarily the funnest things to shoot.
Right.
So we've gone back to full size metal frames. It's funny to see the
way
cycle.
it goes. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I still carry a small polymer 9, but it's not a gun I'm gonna say, you know what, I'm gonna go burn 100 rounds at the range today. It's not gonna be that one. It will be this one. It'll be a 19. It's gonna be something kind of more. It sounds silly because all guns are built to shoot, but the purpose of this is to shoot, whereas a concealed carry, the purpose is to be able to conceal it, carry it, defend yourself when needed. So, this is a gun, you can go out, put as many rounds as you want through it. It's a great day, and the more you shoot it, the more you appreciate it.
Yep, definitely agree.
So on yours, we talked a little bit about the different look. What is the hardened steel, or exactly what is that about?
So it's what case hardened is, carbonitriding. There's a bunch of different ways, but essentially you're introducing carbon or nitride into the hardening process, and depending on how you do that, you can change up a little bit the kind of the aesthetics of the metal, but it's a gorgeous finish.
And each one, I guess, would be unique.
Yes.
Because when it goes through the process and it gets heated up, it's gonna.
Yeah. So not everyone. So it's not like a coating, right? It's actually a surface treatment. So each gun that you get is going to vary, and it's this gun's going to look different than something else that I pull out of the box. Now they're going to have the same overall characteristics, but they're not going to be 100% identical.
Kind of like some of your higher end wooden stocks, on a rifle, where you've, each piece of wood's going to have its different grain. It's going to have these different things. So it's kind of cool. You can truly say you've got a one of a kind pistol.
Well, and then even with our grips, these are grade 3 Turkish walnut. It would look gorgeous just running some teak oil on there, something like that. But kind of similar to our other brands, the walnut that we have, each walnut grip is going to be completely different.
Different, yeah. One thing, and I should have said this earlier, I wish you could have done this whole video in that French accent that you used for the Grand Croissant.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Okay.
We should have gone back and done that. I know we don't have time today, but we've got to do a video with you doing a French accent, the whole video start to finish. Even if the gun has nothing to do with France or anything. I guess we could talk about them all day, but maybe if we went and shot them, we could get a better feel for, differences, similarities, what we like about them. Because I don't think anybody, until they actually hold one, is going to really get a sense of how they feel about it. As beautiful as that looks here, I know it's going to lose a little something in translation with the video. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. Carter's Country just happens to stock both of these pistols, believe it or not. So you could come in, look at them side by side, kind of like they are here, do it in person, feel them, get a feel for them, get a sense of them, and make your decision. But like I said at the very start, the whole purpose of this video isn't to say pick this one instead of this one, because the purpose is to say there's a couple of great choices that are faithful reproductions of an iconic pistol.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Yeah, no, both guns, so both have a 4.7-inch barrel, both are carbon or hammer forged frames and slides. 1.5 or 1 in 10 right hand twists. So there's almost identical.
The specs, yeah.
Yeah, the main differences, finishes that everybody can see. On our GP-35, we put a brass bead front sight on there, and then y'all actually can't tell on the Springfields. Yeah, sorry. We actually put on all of our models, I think except for the L9A1, ambi safety.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so for the wrong-handed shooters.
Right.
we don't want to upset anybody.
That's
We wanna
very inclusive of
yeah,
it, to
yeah.
even include left-handers.
Yes.
You had mentioned something about the grips earlier, and I'm going and talk about a little bit. There's an obvious difference here. These are the checkered walnut grips, a little bit different feel to them than the smooth. You're right with those. A little bit of oil on them, you're going to probably bring that out more than you would with these. Once we shoot them, we'll see if we notice a difference. My guess is because the weight of the gun and everything else, the ergonomics of it, I don't think it's going to be a significant difference in the shooting experience. One thing I will say also about the grips, kind of like continuing my kind of semi-comparison to a 1911, you got all kinds of grip options.
Yeah.
If you go online and look, you can change these grips out. You can get the old original plastic Browning high-power grips. You can get, the little skull, whatever you want. You can get a variety of different grips, completely change the look of the pistol. I like these two. I like something more kind of traditional. Again, this may be because I'm old, but if you're going to buy a gun that's a clone of a traditional iconic gun, why go with some cartoonish grips on it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's your gun, do what you want, but for me, something like this is what this gun deserves.
Yes. No, I agree. So we've kind of checked these before. Let's go over kind of the weight. Make sure that's cleared.
No magazine.
Yeah, because the internet's going to freak out.
Clear there, so we're good.
Yep.
Don't want to freak out the internet.
Yep. So
it's such a calm place. I'd hate to disrupt it.
Yeah. So we've got ours. I'll pull the Inglis, try to get it somewhere good in the middle. We got an idea of where it's going to break. Yep. So just right at 7 pounds. I think that's what we have it listed on our website. I'll let you do yours. Now this is a brand new gun straight out of the box. You said you have shot yours just
I've shot mine a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've put probably
So
a couple hundred rounds through.
Well, it's the same thing with like Glock triggers and 1911 triggers. People want a trigger job, go shoot your guns.
Yeah, do it yourself.
Exactly.
All right, let's see here. All right, I'm just over 6, about maybe 6 1/4.
Yeah.
So again, it's kind of apples to apples. And,
Pretty close.
Shooting that one as much as this one's been shot, you're going to see it creep down towards this. And let's face it, if you're talking about that much difference on a trigger pull, how many shooters are skilled enough for that to really make a whole lot of a difference? I mean,
Exactly.
we got to admit sometimes the guns are capable of more than we are.
It is.
And I see people get in the weeds about a little subtle difference like that, and their shooting won't even be able to distinguish.
Yeah.
And me too. I'm not bashing other people. I'm not some competition shooter. Everybody's seen me shoot. But the point is, you got a difference like that. That's really not.
Most guns can outshoot the shooter.
That's well put. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's the Indian. It's not the bow.
I've never heard that before.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that almost as much as your French accent. That's going to stick with me.
Let's go shoot the pistols.
Pepe Le Pew here. I love that.
Oui,
So,
oui.
all right, we will go shoot Le Pistols.
Cool. I'm gonna try that. Yeah. No, shoots well. Groups well.
Do not put that on video.
Serious face.
So many comments I could make, and she just have to edit.
Better be a gun in your pocket.
No,
It is.
I was
It
thinking,
is.
I didn't know it was
I've
that
got
kind of
one.
video.
I swear it's a gun.
It is a gun.
What a relief. Honestly, it was kind of like what we talked about in there. The shooting, experience wasn't vastly different with one over the other. I personally didn't even really notice a difference on the grips as far as the checkered and smooth. The trigger pull, again, like we talked about, I'm not the guy that can tell you I feel a half pound different. You know, that's just not me. They both shot great, just as advertised, just as we expected they would. Yep. One thing that I did different this time, that I had actually read this after the last time I'd taken mine out to shoot. When the High Point first came out, people were smaller, right? We just weren't as big back then. So that size person was in mind with the design. Also, a lot of people then, it was conventional to shoot one-handed. Mm-hmm. So with the grip, with the traditional thumb on top grip, it gets a little clunky for some people up there at the top. So what the guy did in the video, he suggested taking your offhand down to about the 4 or 5 o'clock position and more or less cup instead of up top. And I did that. It took me a little bit getting used to and all, but it did seem to be a little bit more comfortable shooting experience with it. I wasn't feeling so crowded up there, and the gun rested nice. And really, as far as the gun itself, it kind of gave it the one-hand experience. It lowered my grip on it a little bit. I didn't get any hammer bite.
No, me neither.
I think it was a good thing for me to try that and to learn. And that's one good thing about having different guns, that you can learn a lot of different ways to shoot, because it's not necessarily exactly the same for every gun. Yeah. You wouldn't, some shoes you're going to wear thicker socks, some you're going to wear thinner, some no socks at all. With this gun, a little bit different grip, changed the shooting experience for me.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree. I think they both shoot very, very similarly. They both group really, really well. The main difference I saw was not necessarily in the guns, but it was shooting Federal versus Remington. Like, it likes both guns actually like the Federal 115 a lot better than whatever that is. It just, all the groupings tightened up, and point of aim and point of impact were right where they need to be. So
yeah, these were 147 Remingtons. Yeah. So the 115 Federals definitely seemed to be the ammo of choice as far as what the gun wanted to eat.
Yeah, but no, they both shot extremely well. So on the left was the Springfield. This is my my target. I think I only fired 5 on the left, but up here I fired more. Solid grouping with the Springfield, and then also with our GP Grande Puissance 35.
Yes.
But no, they both group and shoot really, really well. You just got to find the right ammo for the gun. You got to find what the gun likes, and that's with any gun. But no, they both shoot great.
Yeah, I mean, it took me a little bit getting used to the lower grip. I've got another issue with my hands sometimes. I wasn't told we'd be shooting today, so I drank coffee. Caffeine doesn't help with my hand issues. Those are just excuses, though. When I finally kind of really regrouped, focused, shot 100% better. Yeah. And you're definitely right. The Federal 115 was what it wanted, or what it definitely seemed to work with. But the gun, like we talked about earlier, the gun is going to outperform me. Yeah. It's going to be beyond my capabilities any day of the week. But the shooting experience, everything I expected a couple months ago when I bought the gun, it's delivered every time out. Yeah. Yeah, Craig, one other important difference that we haven't talked about, the MSRP of each gun, the Springfield SA-35, the MSRP, $799. The Inglis, I believe you said it's $650. So about $150 difference there. I will tell you, you will find them more affordable at Carter's Country. That is just the MSRPs. Speaking of Carter's Country, remember, if you've ever shopped, shot, or hunted with us, then you're already a part of the Carter's Country family. Until next time, adios.
Perfect. Sweet.